Good evening, East Tennessee. We are looking live at a tornado warning that was issued just a few moments ago for places like Morgan County. This will last until appears to be about 6 p.m. tonight. Severe thunderstorm that was capable, that's the key word, of producing a tornado was located about 12 miles northwest of Wartburg, and it's affecting southwestern Campbell and central Scott County. So what we're looking at is the Ultimate Doppler radar, presented by my sponsor, Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. But you can see the towns on the side of the screen here. I'm looking at New River at 528. I'm looking at Huntsville at 532. I'm looking at Norma at 535. These are estimated times based on the track and speed of this storm that's capable of producing a tornado. And I mentioned this affects areas until 6 o'clock. Scott County is included. Parts of Morgan County. We're going to zoom in a little bit tighter so you can see some of the echoes. There's bound to be some hail in these cores near Elgin as well. So we've got a lot of lightning. It's headed in the direction of Stanfill, headed in the direction of Jeffers and Huntsville. You can see the arrow there in the center of that storm, and it's working its way in that direction. If you've got a comment, let me know, because I am live here at, what time is it? It's 5:25. 5:25 on a Tuesday evening when a lot of folks are trying to get home. Is it coming into Dandridge? Well, not at the moment, no, but this is going to be a long night, folks. This may go on till 1 o'clock or 2 in the morning for places like Dandridge, Newport, and Greenville, because eventually it's going to get to you. It's been hanging out in the plateau and in Kentucky most of the afternoon. So we're going to be watching that closely. Very good question, though, from Durhanda Cundriff. So that she's wondering, is this going to affect us in Dandridge? This is the main event right now in East Tennessee. It's the tornado warning that affects southwestern Campbell and central Scott counties and Morgan County. So you really got three areas here. If I zoom back out for perspective, you go, well, there's nothing going on in Knoxville. It's life is normal, maybe for the moment, sure. But think about that. Would that be changing by, say, 7 o'clock tonight? It could. 8 o'clock tonight? Yes, it could. We could see some big changes coming into the valley. As I did post about a half hour to an hour ago, the Futurecast, the latest track to help you plan. My premium members love to be in the know of how to plan, and so this is going to be one of those events. It's not a quick move. It was slow to get in here. It's going to be slow to leave. You're going, well, I'm over here. I'm in Kentucky. Well, you've already had it quite a tornado watch there till 8 o'clock tonight. Harlan County till 8 o'clock tonight. That's issued by our friends at the Storm Prediction Center in conjunction with the local weather service offices in Jackson and Morristown. We have some wind advisories that are still in effect till 2 a.m. for the Smokies. But I just want to reiterate, we have a tornado warning till 6 o'clock. That's another half hour, 33 minutes still on this. And the latest track takes the core of this storm up in the direction of Elgin at 5:29. That's 2 minutes. It's really almost there. And that's why there's always a little bit of a delay with the radar echoes. I mean, look at this. This is moving east-northeast at 40 miles an hour. I don't care if it's a feather moving at 40 miles an hour, hit you in the face, it's going to feel like, man, it's blustery. You've got a lot of wind, you've got some torrential rain, and in some cases you're getting some hail. That's the big story. The hail. How do we know it's going to say? Well, we take a look. Let's take a look. So let's take a look at this. We'll take off the lightning. It's a little more distracting. But you can see here we've got some little hail echoes, right? We've got some pink areas in this hail tracker where we've had some hail potentially fall in these areas. And they're probably the size possible here. I mean, there's some dark purple. I'd say it's more than possible. It's more than likely they're getting some hail right around the core of this storm. If you've got a comment, let me know. I see Durhanda's on here. I'm also on YouTube at the moment. So if you've got a comment on YouTube, I'd love to hear from you as well. So we're on both platforms just to keep it fresh and know that other people are looking at different platforms. So got that going on YouTube and back on Facebook. First comment has come in, a question about Dandridge. So we've got a very strong storm that's affecting areas in Morgan, southwestern sections of Campbell County and central Scott County until 6 o'clock. So it really was issued at 5:16, so it will have lasted for almost about 45 minutes by the time it's all said and done. But that's the hail that we're seeing. We'll go back to the radar and also take a look at some velocity. Now there's a sharp eye signature for some hail right there. That little black area, you've got a very dark core, so there's a very likelihood that the hail is pretty large, larger than a quarter, maybe even larger. So just south of Robbins, some very, very large hail southeast of Robbins, just to the east of 27. Some big issues there, I'm sure, with hailstones. So please, if you're in the path of this storm, you might want to find a new place to be. Jeff Peterson says he's watching from Dunlap. Thank you, Jeff. Fred Winchebach says everybody stays safe And Lisa Seal says, so it's still in the fall. It's working its way. It's working its way through Campbell County. Lisa, so a good question. Kathy Coffey says, how about Bean Station? It looked eerily all day. Eventually, it may not be this storm, Kathy, that reaches you in Bean Station, but there'll be others. This is going to be pack your patience. It's going to be one of those long nights, I suspect. But you can see here, we have now a confirmed tornado warning. This is a newly issued, kind of a new product as of the last year or two, where they issue a confirmed, meaning they have confirmation that there's a tornado on the ground. So this is one of those things that if you're in the path of this storm, and let's put the towns back on here, this is the time to be in your safe space. It's 5:30. I would ask you to be there for 30 minutes. It's better to stay safe than to be sorry. This wind is moving. It's moving to the east-northeast at 40 miles an hour. It has to have a BTI, which is a Barron Tornado Index of 2.9. That's kind of on the lower side of the scale, but it's certainly something to be watching very closely. But this confirmed tornado warning, as you can see, is issued here. It's in purple. They're suggesting that this has actually been confirmed about 11 miles north of Wartburg. It's moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. So let's do our own track. You can see some of the towns here of Cordell, Jeffers, Dean, all about 543, 546 as far as the times. But let's take off and do our own little track as we're going to zoom back out. That's why it's purple. It's a confirmed tornado warning till 6. So it's not like hyperbole. You can almost see, well, you can see pretty clearly, a little circle in here. So there's a concern here, a little hook echo. So you've got a very defined storm that's moving to the northeast at 40, well, appears from some of the data around 40 miles an hour. But let's take the Weather Service's confirmation. They're moving this at 25 miles an hour. So we're going to do a little track here. We'll just take a cone and we're going to draw that track. So what interesting here is if we draw this out like so to about 25 miles per hour right out here, that would put it around, say, Cordell at 547, Winona. If your town, even Huntsville, if your town is listed here, you should be, and your family, in a safe spot, because this is going to make a lot of noise. As some of you may have remembered from August 7th of last year, we had an EF2 roll through West Knox County in an area where some people just never, ever, ever expected. Even if you have been told that there was a possibility of tornadoes today, did you expect it to be in Huntsville at 5:32? Maybe it's going to be in Huntsville at 5:50. So I just want to urge you or recommend that you go to your safe space, your safe room, away from windows. If you have a basement, that would be ideal. But the second best place would be an interior room without windows until it passes. Greg LaRue says the 911 center has stated there was debris falling from the sky. I truly believe you are probably correct there. There's a lot telling us with the flashing purple. This isn't just a red tornado warning. This is confirmed. So they have eyes. They have eyes on the ground. They have spotters determining that there is a tornado here. And I'm telling you, at 25 miles an hour to the northeast, which is what the Weather Service believes, it's got $half size hail. $half. That's larger than a quarter. So it's very, very large, and it's going to cause some damage. Flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. And please, if you are in a mobile home, this is the time not to be in your mobile home. You hopefully, with a tornado watch or certainly a tornado warning, have found another place to be. Because the last place you want to be when a tornado is rolling overhead is in a mobile home. They're more susceptible to literally being leveled. So please be careful. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will also likely occur. Tree damage, as they point out, is likely. So you're going to lose power in these areas. You're going to lose trees in these areas. And with flying debris, it's important that you get in a safe spot. All right, so this is the ultimate Doppler radar. This is where we are at the moment. I really want to urge you to get in your safe space if you're in these towns. Now, if we did another track, again, these are Hewitt at 539, Cordell at 547. These are the towns that have yet to experience the possible the said tornado here. But it's all moving to the northeast around 25 miles an hour and flying debris an issue. So it should be around, they believe, Huntsville at 555. My track takes it there about 550. But give or take 3 or 5 minutes, just get in your safe spot. You'll be a lot better off. Looks like it's going to pass north of Lone Mountain, but leaving southeast of Elgin, it's headed in that direction. Chad Kane says, will it come near Maryville? Not this storm, but there'll be others, Chad, so stay with us. Kane says, what about Loudoun County? So far, Loudoun County is not affected. This is the only tornado warning that we have. And how many do you want? I don't want any more than this. This would be plenty for me. But you can see in Loudoun County, there's nothing going on. Nothing going on in Maryville. Nothing going on in Morristown. I know that sometimes we automatically assume, well, if it's there, it's going to be here. Not always. Sometimes these just head up in the direction that they're moving. Now, this could continue on the path toward Jellicoe if it stays, keeps its integrity, keeps its formation. But right now, the nastiest storm right now is in this particular area. And if we were to check velocity, which we can easily do, you can see that there's probably going to be quite a bit of interesting information or intel from here. If we look at some of these bright spots, you're like 65 miles an hour, 15. So you've got some areas of very strong winds that are associated with the core of this storm. And again, it's with rotation being confirmed. We want you to be safe. There's no question about that. As far as the other elements, hail, there's certainly the possibility of hail at this point. They're talking about $half size hail. That's never a good sign. But you can see the trail of hail there in pink just around Elgin, and it's working its way to the north and to the east. I'm going to go back to the track that our friends at Barron's have placed on here, so it gives us some extra intel. It also puts some towns on here that might not be mentioned, but I want to throw out Newtown at 543. I also mentioned Straight Fork at 549, Pioneer at 553. Time to get in your safe spot. Don't waste any time. Make sure your family is protected. That's what we want to keep you safe until this particular storm passes. Because you can see it's already leaving Elgin area. It's mainly north of Slick Rock, and it's working its way toward Huntsville at this moment. Other questions, other comments, let me know. I'm going to toggle back onto YouTube if you're on there. Let me know. I see, let's see, I got a new comment here. Oops, go back there. Let's see here. Got the wrong spot there on my thing. I didn't mean to go there. I clicked on a earlier graphic here. But anyway, as far as Facebook is concerned, Rick Pickett says, how about Chattanooga? Not an issue. Chattanooga is kind of outside of my purview, but I would suspect that you have the possibility of getting some heavy rain too, like the rest of us, later tonight, excuse me. Because this will go on to about 1 or 2 in the morning, folks. This isn't like over and done once the tornado warning is at 6, because there will be still opportunities for torrential rain as well as potential heavy rain and what am I talking about? Heavy rain and some hail. So hail may still be an issue. There was, I believe, a 30% chance that we could have hail within 25 miles of a point. So we got quite a bit of hail going on right now in those counties. Let's see here. Got some updates from TRS Headringer. Says, thanks for keeping us updated. You're more than welcome. Thank you for being on YouTube, popping back up on Facebook. Got some nice stars from Diane. Thank you, very kind. Felicia, when is this heading towards Knoxville? I have a timeline, folks. It's on Facebook, posted about an hour ago, and it does show it moving in aggressively into Knoxville before 8 o'clock tonight. So that was designed to help you plan. It doesn't always line up perfectly, but there will be opportunities for Knoxville to be included. I know it's kind of like either we're having tornado envy or what about me, boss? What about me? How come I'm not included? It's just because that's where the only storm is, folks. That's the only storm in town, and it's a potent one too. It's not like it's just a passing shower. This is a tornado warning that's been confirmed. There's nothing going on in Knoxville. There's nothing to get too excited about in Morristown right now, and nothing to talk about in Madisonville or Maryville. This is highly localized in this one area. As I mentioned, southwestern Campbell, because I'm concerned about them. Central Scott counties, I'm concerned about them. And I'm concerned about Central Morgan until this passes at 6 o'clock. So that's another 22 minutes. 22 minutes. And you don't see the purple every day. That's somewhat of, again, a new color scheme that the National Weather Service encouraged or added into, because they used to just flash it red, right? You might see purple and you think hail or maybe even a winter type of thing, but this just means it's a confirmed tornado. They have confirmed a tornado has occurred. It's been on the ground for a while, and it looks like it's headed up toward Huntsville. So you've got Huntsville at 545, based on this track, Pioneer and Terry Creek. Now, it's possible the tornado could go back up into the sky, but I wouldn't risk it. I would wait until the coast is clear. And right now, the worst is over for Elgin. The worst is over for Lone Mountain. Not that you ever had it as bad as your northern neighbors, but you are technically in the flashing purple polygon in Lone Mountain. But clearly, by far and away, what we're tracking is what's going on right here in that red area up here. So that's what we're most concerned about at this time. It is, again, potentially moving east-northeast as fast as 40. Weather Service thought it was 25. Even if you split the difference, it's still moving somewhere between 25 and 40, and it's drifting in the direction of Huntsville, which again is populated right closest now, probably the bigger of the towns there. I'm guessing Pioneer 556. If you're in Titus 558, those are estimated times of when this could impact you the most. What about La Follette? Somebody asked about Campbell County. If you zoom back out, you'd have to look over here. So here's Jellicoe, there's Stanfield. So this gives you an idea of where things are. Jacksboro's down here, and there's La Follette. So La Follette is not included in this cone, and it's not even included. There's La Follette, and Jacksboro's down here. So it would be passing to the north, potentially, of La Follette in Campbell County. But this is where this tornado is potentially impacting areas around Newtown, Cordell, and Jeffers. Let's see. Chris Jennings says, what about Bell County? Well, you know, it's one of those things. If this storm holds together, if it's held together, I should say, Chris, then it could certainly work its way toward Bell County. Bell County is technically under a watch for tornadoes until 8 o'clock tonight. And there could be new cells that could form, because I'm looking at this one over here, and there could be new ones over here. If we zoom back out, take a look at what's going on to the west. I know there's more storminess here. Take the telestrator off, but you can zoom back out. You see all this activity over here and around Nashville. In fact, they just issued a new tornado warning, or at least they updated the one that we have. I'm going to close back in and get back in there. I'm using my Captain Accurate weather app. I would encourage you to download it. It's for free. It has Pete Michaels traffic on it as well, but they did issue it at 5:39, 2 minutes ago, an update. So let's get into the updated information, and this is where they have it at this particular time. Tornado warning till 6. That has not changed. The tornado warning remains in effect for central Scott County. The confirmed, and they did point out, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Huntsville. That's all we've been talking about, right? South of Huntsville, really south of Huntsville, where this large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Huntsville, or 11 miles south of Oneida. They now have it listing moving northeast at 40. So score a point for Barron because they had it moving at 40 miles an hour to start. Now they have it at 38. So we're still in the ballpark. It's moving to the northeast 38 miles an hour, and these are the towns that are going to be impacted in the next few minutes. Now, some of these towns are affected after the 6 o'clock expiration, like Elk Valley, 6:07. Stanfield, 6:02. So does that mean you don't you get out of your safe space? I would stay there at least until this particular cell passes, because they may extend this warning and draw a whole new box, whole new polygon, may actually come out of it once it gets past 6 o'clock. And we're still at 5:42, right? Still 5:42. If we zoom in a little bit tighter, and again, we have the confirmed tornado, but the tornado warning till 6. They said you're in a life-threatening situation. This is the Weather Service I'm quoting. You are in a life-threatening situation with flying debris if you're around Huntsville at this moment, and mainly south and east of Huntsville. You've got a damaging wind, you got tornadoes, a tornado. Mobile homes will be destroyed. That is a definitive statement from the Weather Service. Considerable damage to your homes, businesses, and vehicles are likely, and complete destruction is possible with this storm. They're not mincing words, folks. Huntsville, they expect to be around 5:45. That's 2 minutes. And I would assume, based on what I'm seeing, this would also include Newtown and Winona. These are the areas from Huntsville, Newtown, Winona are getting pounded with this storm. So please take the necessary precautions to stay safe. This includes Norma. As they point out, it includes Smoky Junction, Slick Rock, Elgin, and Robbins as far as the warned area. But again, it's already past Elgin. It's already past Robbins, and it's working its way through Jeffers, Cordell, Winona, and Huntsville. So those are the biggest areas. And this is a particular dangerous situation. Please take cover now. That's the expectation. That is the urging of the Weather Service, and in all caps. PDS, that means particularly dangerous situation, is now taking place in this area around Huntsville. So I can't emphasize it enough. Take cover now, and please don't take your life. Don't take it willy-nilly with this storm. Please take the necessary precautions to stay safe with your family. Now, keep in mind, this storm, the colors, the rotation of this may be moving out of that box. So we'll wait and see what the Weather Service wants to do with this. But clearly, by far and away, there's a lot of strong wind associated with 67 miles an hour.
We got another one that's about 56. And with rotation and flying debris, it's a real mess. Now they've extended this, right? They're going to continue with this tornado, and they've just added Jellicoe in the mix and La Follette. Although we may move north of La Follette, they kept La Follette in the box. So we have a brand new, sadly, a brand new tornado warning that's confirmed until 6:30, because that's when this is likely to last. It's going to last until 6:30. The velocity is pretty high, very strong, and there's rotation. They've got confirmation that this is taking place at this moment in time. Let me go back to the radar. You can see clearly there's not only one but two arrows here. We can see one here, maybe some hook echoes. Cordell is occurring now. Jeffers at 5:51, Norma at 5:51, and Pioneer at 5:59. Chris Jennings says, thanks, David. You're more than welcome. Alice says, thanks for the updates. Appreciate you. And Diane saying, going to watch you on YouTube. Awesome. Again, platforms, depending on your preference, they're both there for your convenience. Just want to reiterate, we've had some confirmed tornado near Elgin, especially south and east of Elgin a few moments ago. This first warning was issued at 5:16, so it's been going on for about a half hour. And while they like to say, they who've been through these types of storms, like to say it sounds like a freight train, it actually does. It kind of sounds like a freight train. And these towns that are now being impacted with newly fresh times and towns there on the right would include Buckeye at 5:53, Elk Valley at 5:58, Woolridge at 6:05. And remember, we have one box that will likely fall away at 6 o'clock. But they've kind of morphed it into one big purple polygon, as it were, and there's one interior one that they've focused on too that's until 6:30. So these areas right in here is what we're watching. The towns that are going to be hit hardest will be south and east of Huntsville, Winona, Jeffers, Cordell, and now working its way in the direction of Stanfill and Buckeye. These are the biggest concerns that we have at the moment. And you can see somebody asked about Middlesboro. If it holds together, it could make it to Bell County if it has enough energy, enough time. Now, we did hit, I believe we hit 80 degrees today, and I know it's quite humid, so we have a lot of humidity in the air, unusually so. Yeah, we hit 80 degrees at 5:07 this afternoon. That is the high temperature for Knoxville. Oak Ridge hit 78. So a very warm day, and we have a lot of humidity from these storms to feed off of. So this is all working its way toward Jellicoe. That may be the end point in Tennessee, but it could, knock on wood, it could extend into Kentucky. And Kentucky's already had some challenges so far, but they're currently, many of them are under tornado watches until 8 o'clock tonight. So, but this particular warning goes until 6:30. If you've got some comments, let me know. I'm looking at the comments. Tammy Bullock says she's got 3 prayer hands. Thank you for that. And absolutely prayers for everyone involved. I caution some people don't take it seriously, or sometimes they think, oh, that's just the weather people, or that's just the weather service making a lot of hay over nothing. This is the real deal. Aaron Edwards says praying for all, and Tammy's on there as well. Well, thank you for your time, as I just wanted to come in and focus more on the maps than for myself, because I think it's important you see the maps more than me at this point. But I will come on camera a little bit later. I want to show you what we have going on as far as speed, and we have chance of hail at 100%. You don't see that every day, but when you do, you know that we've got hail in association with this tornado. The hail, 50% that it's severe, larger than a quarter, but we've already seen that extend from Elgin toward Huntsville. But these are the times on the screen that are going to be impacted. It's headed in the direction of Jellicoe. It's headed in the direction of Stanfill, and you can see that it will be there around 5:54. So that's just about, 4, 5, 6 minutes away as this is continuing to move in this direction. If you're just joining me, this is the only storm that we have. There's nothing going on in Knoxville. And if you're wondering, what about Maryville, what about Newport, what about Cosby? None of the above. You have nothing to worry about if you're in Herriman Morris. But by the time we hit 8, 9 o'clock, I suspect, as I've shown on the Futurecast, that rain will be pouring in here from west to east. So we'll have opportunities, but let's hope, knock on wood, let's hope this is the only tornado warnings that we have of the night. If this is, and it kind of lines up pretty well. If any of you saw my video from this morning, my live stream from this morning, some of the storm energy was between Cookeville and Jamestown. It was north and west of Knox County, some of the red areas, and that may be where this is feeding off of, because that's the direction that this storm particularly started, not far from Elgin. If you're on the call, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you. I'm looking at some new information as I keep updating my app to refresh it so I can get more information. Got a new one a minute ago. National Weather Service. New information, 5:48. That was 1 minute ago. They said the tornado warning remains in effect until 6:30 for Campbell and East Central Scott counties. They did say at 5:48 that a confirmed, large, and extremely dangerous tornado was located 7 miles east of Huntsville. So this is a tornado. This is on the ground. This is doing damage as we speak. It's also, another way to look at it, it's 11 miles southeast of Oneida, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. Now, my Barron has this now moving at picked up speed. It's like 53. And maybe the orange arrow, yeah, around 53. So they think this thing has maybe picked up speed, some forward momentum. And now the BTI is 6.9. I've often said if you get a 7, 8, or 9 of a BTI on your phone, you better be in your safe space. It's my recommendation. The skill score is very high, and the BTI has come up to dangerous levels. It's out of a scale of 10, right, essentially 0 to 10. If it's a 7, 8, or 9, my recommendation is get in the basement. But when you have a confirmed tornado warning, that alone is reason to get in your basement or center room of your house. Safe space is the windows away or a room without windows. That would be ideal of where you want to be. Let me see if I can illustrate this. So this area here, these towns, sometimes it helps to see, let me see if I can find this. There's the dew points, how humid it is, right? We've got crazy humidity right now. Humidity is off the chart. But if you are often wondering, well, you know, sometimes you hear a warning, sometimes you hear a watch. Anytime you get a warning, it's been indicated, it's already been seen. You have to seek shelter immediately, and you don't have time to plan. So the tornado warning on the right, you don't have time to plan at this point. This is a spring into action, time to do something, and you need to continue to watch the situation. So the best place to be is down here. Some of you are going, I don't have a basement, Aldridge. I don't know where to go. So my recommendation is go here. There's a nice bathroom, perhaps, in your home with no windows. This is the second best place to be. So number one, best place to be would be in the basement. And we'll ride it out. That would be a good place to be for you and your family. But if you don't have a basement, the second best option is the interior room in your house. We talk about this a lot at my school visits. Something tornado safety is not to be underestimated because these storms can level a property, can level your house, take out trees, power. It can change your life, right? Anyone who's been through them, they can be life-altering, especially if your home is affected. But this storm, while it is confirmed, is moving toward Terry Creek, it's moving toward Buckeye, and it's moving toward Titus at 5:58. I've got some other comments here. Robert and Sherry Wells wants to know about Sneedville. Good question. Sneedville's not that far away. There's Tazewell. I think Sneedville, you're probably out of the mix. It may very well pass to your north. Just follow the arrows. So here's the arrow here, right? And there's Sneedville. So I think you're going to be okay with this particular storm. But there could be others, Robert. There could be others, Sherry. So appreciate the question. Prayers for all, says Kathy. And Wanda Post says, anyone in the trailers, please leave it, one heading your way. Yeah, I just can't emphasize this enough. I give credit to where credit is due. When you talk about the National Weather Service, we've had numerous Skywarn meetings I've sat through, but they did emphasize that if you know someone in a mobile home and they're under a tornado watch, like all the red areas in Kentucky, Bell County, Harlan County, if you're under a tornado watch and you're in a mobile home, invite them over for dessert. Invite them over for dinner until this passes. This will last until 8 o'clock. And then they can go back to their mobile home if they want after 8. That's an ideal. Now, when you're a warning, there's absolutely no reason you should be in a mobile home during a tornado warning. But a tornado watch, not a bad idea to cover up and maybe invite some friends over who might be in a mobile home so that they have proper shelter to get by. Again, just reiterating, it's 5:53. Some of this will expire at 6, but we know that it's been moved on to 6:30. The confirmed tornado warning is flashing in purple because it's not capable of tornado. It has produced a tornado. We have confirmation a tornado has been detected, still affecting a large and confirmed extremely dangerous tornado located 7 miles east of Huntsville. This particularly dangerous situation, which the Weather Service likes or refers to as a PDS, particularly dangerous situation, take cover now, and you're in a life-threatening situation if you're in the path of this storm. That's why I focus so much on this particular area, because it could be life-changing if you're not paying attention to the weather. Again, it's going to likely pass, most of it north of La Follette. Certainly, Jacksboro is not in the box. It's not in the polygon in Jacksboro. Jacksboro is here. La Follette is over here. Fincastle, we'll keep an eye on that, and there's Duff, right? So you got McLeod Mountain, probably has a beautiful view of what's possibly rolling up north of west of Duff, in Duff. There's Jellicoe as well. So I don't recommend going out and take pictures. I just recommend that you get in a safe spot until this thing passes. That's my best advice to you in that regard. As far as hail or velocity, we can look at that again some more. What do we have here? We got some little bright spots here. We're looking at about 70 miles an hour. When you have 70 miles an hour that's rotating, you got problems. And we've got rotation going on right around this particular purple area, which is the confirmed tornado warning. The hail situation may still be growing, but it was maybe a lot worse back toward Elgin, but there's still some hints of that still going on. And another look at this, perhaps maybe in the more category. How much, as far as accumulation of rain, just in the last couple of hours, you can see heavy rain here, over 1.25 inches, about 1 inch. So you got torrential rain. There's 1.25 inches. Some estimations from the Doppler would suggest over 1 inch of rain has fallen in these spots, in addition to having the torrential rain, the wind damage, and the hail. All that combined makes for a very miserable Tuesday afternoon in parts of Scott County, Campbell County, and Morgan County. But again, this tornado warning is really for Campbell and East Central Scott counties until 6:30. That's what we're watching at this moment. Looking at some other comments, Trudy Davis, one of my premium members, is already ready to run if one comes this way. Park car near the door to run easy. Yeah, I think most of the energy right now, again, this is not a coincidence that we hit 80 and this is beginning to form to the north and west. So, by the time it gets to Knoxville, Maryville, right, it'll probably be pitch dark, and some of the buoyancy is dropped off. So I don't suspect we're going to see this go on all night in terms of this type of tornado situation, but we could certainly still see, I think, over 1 inch to 2 inches of rain develop from the west. There's still a lot. In fact, I can just show you here as we look at this cell. And I want to do a loop here of the future radar. I think that would be very helpful. But there's still a lot of rain and energy coming up from the south and west. There's a lot of lightning. Look at that, over 7,100 strikes. And if we put just over an hour loop, let's do 30 minutes. I think the hour might be too much. But you can see all this energy is working its way to the north and to the west, north and east. So all this energy that's southwest of Huntsville, Alabama, and south of Columbia, Tennessee, still has to work its way in the direction of Knoxville. So that's what we want to watch going closely or as we move forward in time. Go back toward local here. We'll turn the loop off. I think what I wanted to see was the power outages, because there's bound to be some of those. But let's do future scan first. That's what I really wanted to do. This would give us an idea of where the weather's going to be 30 minutes from now. So if this is where it is now, right? Let's go. This is go back forward in time. Notice the clock. I'll turn this banner off. That's 5:57. This one does want to move into Bell County. So somebody was asking me about Middlesboro. If this is to be believed, this could easily slide into Bell County, Harlan County within the next hour. So be on your guard. There is a tornado watch in effect for Bell County, Harlan County till 8 o'clock tonight. This is where this future radar wants to take it. This is, again, in the future of where this storm may go. I just wanted you to be prepared. That may be what we see here in the next few minutes. Let's go back to currents. I'm going to go to power outages and turn this off for a second. Go back to the radar. I think that would be more appropriate to see our current situation. You can see just from these tracks, the times and towns. Excuse me, there's the towns. That includes Stanfield at 6. I mentioned Middlesboro is under a tornado watch till 8. We've got the confirmed tornado warning till 6:30. And the towns that we're most concerned about would include Stinking Creek, Newcomb, Wooldridge, Oswego, Jellicoe. What time's Jellicoe? 6:20. And I would suspect it would carry right into Bell County, north of Middlesboro, something we'll be watching. This is moving at 38 miles an hour. So it is moving pretty quickly, but I'm sure if you're in the path of the storm, it's not moving quick enough. Probably can't get out quick enough for those that are dealing with it at this particular moment. Let's go back to county outages if we have any. Let's see here. I don't see any power outages just yet, but maybe that's something that will come in over time. But there's a lot more of the power outages. If I take this off for a second, a lot of power outages, it looks like, up toward West Virginia. They've had some nasty storms too, apparently. It's pretty red. That's over 56,000 power outages. They've got a real world of hurt going on up in the Mountain State tonight. But for us, I don't see any tornado or any outages at this point. But this will change, I'm sure, as these winds continue. And again, we've seen before, tornadoes can take out power, but they can take out trees, your home, and all the rest. That's why I'm really concerned about these warnings. If they're being, if you're taking the necessary precautions, you won't mess around with it, and you'll get in that safe spot. That's the key. It's now 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock straight up. They kept this in effect until 6:30. We mentioned that. Go back to this other screen. I think the lightning gets a little more muffled here. There we go. This definitely goes into Kentucky after it leaves Jellicoe here in the next few minutes. So it is now 6 o'clock. Jellicoe is about 6:11. Should be around Little White Oak at 6:12, and could be around Fairview at 6:12 as well. These are the new towns that could very well be in the path of an existing tornado. Kenny Lane says, thank you, Captain Accurate. My pleasure. Just wanted to give you guys an idea that this is, it's all or nothing, right? You're either in this path of this storm or you're not. Feels like the longest 15 minutes, says Aaron Edwards. I'm so sad to hear that. Anything for Dandridge? No, obviously no, not yet. Somebody asked me that earlier. But yeah, this is pretty much going from from Tennessee to Kentucky here in the next 30 minutes. And I suspect, because there will be a handoff. Keep in mind, when you start talking about Middlesboro, you're governed by the National Weather Service in Jackson. And of course, the National Weather Service in Morristown covers La Follette, covers Huntsville. So they're in communication, no doubt, as if one tornado warning ends, the next one will continue on. That's what we're seeing at this point. And look at the speed of this. This has now moved up to 63 miles an hour. This thing is kind of moving. It's picking up forward momentum. It's got an 80% chance of hail, 40% chance that it's larger than a quarter, 0.75 at least. And the BTI has dropped a little bit for what it's worth, 2.8 on a scale of 0 to 10. But I wouldn't put anything past this storm. I would be in my safe spot. If I lived in Jellicoe, which I don't, I'm in West Knox County, I think these areas definitely need to be in their safe space. We talked about the center of room of your house without windows would be ideal. But it is now 6:02. I want to go back if I can. We talked about the future scan, future radar. It took us into Bell and Harlan County. We can also look at the velocity once again and see, actually, go back to the, this is the rotation tracker. This is helpful to see where there was, there were some areas that turned burgundy, and you could see the path just north of Sunbright. If you see over here, right in here, and then up here, this is where, if we were to track this possible tornado, not possible, it's been confirmed, but this is the path upon which it's taken, more likely in the burgundy areas, and now it's headed in the direction of Clarefield and Frakes and Carpenter. But that's our concern right now as far as the particular tornado warning. So the arrow is very clear. It's likely going to be a 7-10 split right between Pineville and Middlesboro, sadly. This is where it's drifting in that direction. So this is why if you're in those areas, it's just very important that you get into your safe space, let this thing pass, and then you can go back, carry on as needed. But this is a rotation tracker. If we did a little track on this for the last, 20 minutes, we'll do 30. You can see some of the lightning makes it a little harder to see. Take that off. But you can see some of the coloring. All this has been moving up in that direction, and it's continued to moving to the north and to the east. Another look at this. Let's see here. I'm going to go back to TDS swath. I'll go back to hail. All right, so we have basically the threat of this being, there's that nice little hail core. So you've got 1-inch hail potentially right in the heart of this storm system, in addition to it being a tornado right between Stanfill and Broyles. My most concerned about the towns, I'll try and keep these towns on here as long as I can, that would be around Stinky Creek at 6:07. That's 6:08. That's 4 minutes from now. Habersham about 6:11. Remy about 6:12. And if you're around Little White Oak, about 6:13. So these are the towns that really need to be in their safe space. You don't want your town to show up on this track, but that's where this possible still tornado, very large, extremely dangerous tornado has been detected. That's where it's moving. And there's just a lot of concern that you're getting not only rotation, but you're getting flying debris, the whole 9 yards. If we take this, let me go back to this other, turn this off for a second, just so you can see the differences in speed. You've got 53 miles an hour here, 39 here. Up toward Fidelity, it's 56, 46. But where you have potentially the rotation is right in here. So this is why it's so important to be in your safe spot until this passes. Judy Kerr says, thank you for keeping us informed. Please, everyone, be aware. Please stay safe. Gardner Fritz, always on top of things with the forecast, especially when it's important. Thanks, David. You're more than welcome, Garner. I appreciate you very much. And Catherine Witt says, I'm in Campbell County near Mountain Lake Marina. All is well here. Well, that's good. Not everybody in Campbell County is in the path, but if you are, I hope that you're taking the necessary precautions to stay safe. So, but Catherine, thank you for that update. I want to check YouTube because I'm also juggling 2 platforms. I think it's important because some people get different information. TRS Headringer mentioning thank you for keeping us updated. That's a earlier comment that was made a moment ago. But if you're on YouTube, let me know. I'd love to give you a shout out as well if you have something you want to report. They're very sticky. I talked about the dew point. What else can I show you? What are we looking at? Sometimes people want to say, what is the radar? Radar is actually an acronym for radar detection and ranging. So we do see snow and rain meteorologically with these impulses, but when it's in a clear air mode, you can see birds and debris. That's why we have so much intel with these storms that we're able to utilize the tools that we have, and the radar becomes a very, very helpful tool. We haven't talked much about this yet, but I think it could be an issue for Knoxville later tonight, is the flooding safety. We're going to get back to the radar in just a moment, but turn around, don't drown. We talk about that all the time on my school visits because 6 inches of moving water can sweep you off your feet. 12 inches of water can sweep a car or SUV away, and 18 inches of water can sweep a large vehicle away. So it's just smart to turn around, don't drown. Even though you might think you know the road, you grew up on this road, you feel like I know this road like the back of my hand, but you don't know if there's a sinkhole developing under that water. And then somebody has to come get you, and somebody has to come rescue you, and you're putting a first responder's life in jeopardy. Not a smart move, just better to turn around. So I mentioned the flooding safety, knowing the difference between a watch and a warning. That is not the case tonight, but I would suspect we're going to get 1 to 2 inches of rain. We're going to get it fast and furious later tonight. It might be closer to 10 p.m., might be closer to 11 p.m. for some of you, because that's just the way this system is developed. I call it the great weather mystery. Why did one house get hit by a tornado and one didn't? Why is Huntsville getting affected, but I didn't get affected? Because at some point a tornado moves on, and at some point precipitation has to end, right? It's the great mystery. It's really not a big mystery, but it is a mystery for some because people are just perplexed. Why do they get all the snow and I didn't? Why did the Smokies get all the snow this winter and I didn't get as much? That type of thing. It's the same reason with downbursts. We call them microbursts and macrobursts. If it's more than 2.5 miles, you can get a lot of locally heavy rain if it's still a macroburst greater than 2.5 miles. But if it's a smaller burst of water, less than 2.5 miles, we call that a macro. So those are just some events, some things I like to share with my school students when I get a chance to speak to them. But getting back to the velocity, getting back to the radar, it is 6:08. I want to focus on some towns again because some of you may be just turning this on. And now, all of a sudden, everybody in Knoxville has suddenly been given a little alert that wasn't there just a moment ago. What alert am I talking about? I'm talking about a tornado watch. You mean Knoxville's under a tornado watch? They sure are. And what did I say? I said this is going to go on all through the night, right? I said it's going to be late, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Oh, there it is. My Captain Accurate weather app says a tornado watch has been issued for Knoxville Downtown Island Home Airport, where I have a registered location. And it runs till 2 o'clock in the morning. So what is happening in Campbell County and now working its way in the direction of Kentucky, just north of Duff, could affect Knoxville. So it means the difference between a watch and a warning. We are going to watch it like a preheated oven. Doesn't mean we're going to get a tornado, but sadly our friends to the north are in fact getting a tornado. One just south of Jellicoe, just north of Clarefield, and it's working in this direction towards Stinking Creek at 6:12. So very, very powerful storm is rolling at this time. You can see, again, this is a pseudo-live look at where the storm is now, but it's the only the only storm that we're watching at the moment, right? There's no storm that's in Knoxville, but the anticipation is if it's 6 o'clock now, you're like 6, 7, that's 8 hours. You mean we're under a tornado watch for 8 hours? You're going to be on for a long time, Aldrich. Maybe. Maybe I'll cut in and cut back out. We'll wait and see. But I am concerned about those that are in the path of this storm because it's causing damage and most likely taking out trees and power along its way. That would include High Cliff. That would include Chaska, if I'm saying that right. Certainly Newcomb has been impacted. Broyles are feeling the effects. Frakes will eventually feel the effects of this in the next few minutes. Brandy Sue tagging her friend Laura, I see. William Lewis says, hey, David, I guess you heard Fred Hunter. Let's see, retiring. Okay. Have a safety plan. Marilyn Bell, great suggestion, Marilyn. I couldn't agree more. And Brandy Sue also tagging her friend Lisa. So we've got a nasty storm. The Ultimate Doppler Radar, I would be remiss if I didn't mention my sponsor. If you find these cut-ins helpful, please, if next time you need an oil change, go to Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. They would appreciate it. Tell them Captain Accurate sent you. They took a chance on me. Take a chance on them. You'll find their service is superior. Absolutely awesome. They've been around since 1953. Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. If you need your tires rotated, you need an oil change, you need a whole new set of tires, Madlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. I can't recommend them more highly than I do. They are awesome, and they are my sponsor for the Ultimate Doppler Radar. Again, getting back to Knox County and Union County, everybody's now suddenly turned kind of a reddish color. We now match the same color that our southeast Kentucky neighbors had. Theirs lasts till 8 p.m. Well, that's not fair. Ours goes till 2 in the morning. That's right. Slow to get in here, slow to get out. Bell County had it there first. They've had it for quite some time. For today, most of the day has been under tornado watch, but they expire at 8. Ours is going to go until 2 a.m. So what must happen for that to occur? Well, you can imagine there's a lot of energy down here, right? And it's all going to work in this direction, so it's not going to affect Middlesboro like it will Gatlinburg or Knoxville. So we go till 2 a.m. That's a long time from now, and it may expire early. Sometimes they do, but it's important that you have multiple sources. What am I talking about? We talked about the safety, right? Multiple sources come in many different colors and flavors here. Like I usually like to use this as my example. If you're not getting these notifications, that's what I just got. Now this is from March 24 of last year when I screen captured this, but it's the same concept. You get a little notification on your phone, and I like to say it's free. You get all the National Weather Service alerts, plus you get extras. But we always support multiple sources. When I say multiple sources, having a NOAA weather radio, which you will spend money on, but it's a fantastic investment, helps you while maybe you're sleeping, because maybe you need a big sounding alarm to get out of bed, to get to your safe space. But both are excellent to have. The free one, the app, which I have with Pete Michaels Traffic, you get all the National Weather Service alerts, plus you get 3 extras. I think we have that here. Yep, over here. I have some snow in there because we have snow in the forecast in a 7-day. All the National Weather Service alerts. Twisting storm approaching. That one actually went off on August the 7th of last year when it hit Yarnell Road, Lovell Road, West Knox County, in a place that nobody in West Knox County thought, oh, we don't get tornadoes here. I can't tell you how many years I've heard that. I've been here since 2010, and I've been hearing that. We don't get tornadoes in West Knox County. Yes, we do. I remember 2011, we had tornadoes in all sorts of places. If the conditions are right, you can have one. That twisting storm approaching alert is a precursor to a tornado warning. So sometimes they go off and the others don't. And that was the case on August the 7th. Dangerous storm approaching is a precursor to a severe thunderstorm warning. And notice it comes with a BTI. That's the Barron Tornado Index. If it's a 7, 8, or 9, I would definitely highly recommend you to get in your basement with your family. You don't even have to think about it. They have like a 98.9% or higher skill score. So when they issue a 7, 8, or 9, they do it not willy-nilly. They do it because they know the intel suggests there is a tornado actually occurring. And that's what we're going to get back to. But I encourage you to go to the App Store, Google Play. Just search the 2 words, Captain Accurate, and you'll get that app on your phone tonight. Because, again, this is going to last until 2 in the morning. I didn't make that time up. That's coming by way of our weather friends in the weather community at the Storm Prediction Center and the National Weather Service in Morristown. So here's what we have. A tornado warning that's been confirmed. It runs till 6:30. If you're just joining me, it's around Stinking Creek. and it's affecting areas around Morley at 619. Should be around Egan at 624, and you'll notice it's heading in the direction of Kentucky. That's right. It's going to possibly be near Clarefield, and it's moving east-northeast at 43 miles per hour. So what are you looking at? I'm looking at this box. This box has a lot of intel. Let's see here. Yep, there's the confirmed. It has east-northeast at 43 miles an hour. It's got the cloud top. It's 20,000 feet. And it's got hail, 50% chance. It's severe, 40% severe. But it's a BTI of 6.7. That's close enough. I'll round that up to 7. That's the time to get in your basement. Everybody who's listed in this town, in these towns, should be in your safe space, the center room of your house, or perhaps be in the basement. I know that some of us don't all have basements, but if you have a basement, that would be preferred over the other. And maybe being in a spot, I often tell, when I did the Hardin Valley Middle School last week, I told them about having a bicycle or football helmet. Put that on. Well, why would I do that? Was the response. I said, because of flying debris. It wouldn't hurt to put on a bicycle helmet or perhaps a football helmet, if you have it, when you're in your safe space. Because if you're in the path of one of these tornadoes, which we have confirmed, it just makes sense, doesn't it, to protect your noggin. Cindy says, Cindy Ferris, I know Cindy, she's one of my pre members. Thanks for staying on top of this, David. Prepared and waiting here in Friendsville. Well, it's going to be a long evening. I will say that. Chastity Carroll says, hello, David Aldrich Weather. Thank you, Chastity, for being here. And Marilyn Bell reminding us to have a safety plan. It's really not hard to do, but sometimes you just have to initiate the conversation with all the kids in your home. Michael Hawk says, good evening, David. I got a little note here. Go back. Michael Hawk's on here. I'm going to go back to his comment here in a second. But just looking at the ultimate Doppler radar, tornado warning till 6:30. That is less than 15 minutes from now. Now, my suspicion, and we're going to go back to the future radar, which is, by the way, a feature you have on the app. We didn't even talk about that. You can do 1 hour, 2 hours into the future. I think of Wayne's World. Sorry, I know that's kind of a weird analogy, but the sound effect, doodle doodle. We're going to go in the future, right? 1 or 2 hours in the future to see where this is and where it might go. And then it does a 24-hour feature. If you're planning like a Saturday event, you're going to be outside. Michael Hawk says, good evening, David. Cloudy here in Morristown. The air is very still and just got notified, he says. I'm going to come back on camera. Hello there. Let me come back on this side, too. There, I'll sit back on here. But anyway, I wanted you to see the radar as we've been looking at that. And I'll come back on camera here. So I'm over here. I'm a little sweaty just looking at it. But this is the active weather that we have. And again, we're talking about Campbell County moving into perhaps Bell County in a little short while. So please, please take the necessary precautions. You should be in your interior room. Now, most of you might be watching. You're nowhere near this spot. So you're just kind of like perusing. Will it work its way here? It may not be this cell. It may not be this supercell. It might be something different that forms later tonight because the tornado watch lasts until 5 o'clock, till 2 a.m. Till 2 a.m. That's a long time from now. Michael Hawk's on here, and I'm looking at YouTube. Want to just check in with you. See Greg LaRousse. He sent me a note here from Twitter. I appreciate that, or what's now X. And Judy says, reminder, get the phone charged up, flashlights nearby, check on neighbors. I agree. These are great suggestions. That was one of the things I said repeatedly this morning. Make sure your phone is charged. If you were down to like 1 or 2 bars at 2 p.m., 3 p.m. In the area that we're looking at over here, and we'll go back to the screen, you wish now you had your phone charged. And I'm sure the people that are losing power now around Holton, which is where this is, right now, Tackett Creek is next in line around 621. This thing's got now moving at 43 miles per hour. So it's any wonder now that Stinking Creek and Newcomb are probably through the worst of it. It is now closing in near Pearl and Clarefield. So we're looking at Kentucky and Tennessee here. Just going to probably just pass north of Powell Valley. I had somebody ask me about Sneedville. Sneedville's over here on the right. Again, this is Hancock County, beautiful Hancock County. And Tazewell's over here. So most of this is going to be headed back up here and may not affect you quite like your obviously northwest neighbors. But these folks are going to have some issues, right? What are they going to eat for dinner, right? They don't have, maybe they have trees landing on their house, their car. It's going to be a mess. There's no doubt about that. And I want to check real quick from my friend Greg, who is sending me a link from X. I suspect that there might be something to look at there, and I can share. Some of you might be looking at that at this moment. Let me go back in time. Greg says, video from Sunbright, he says. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Maybe that will help me put this in perspective as well. Let's go back into this. Open up this. Maybe this will help me open up. There's so many clicks of the mouse. I'm just trying to toggle this through. But anyway, you're looking at Egan at 622. Clairfield, there it is, 624. So if you were looking for, there it is. If you're looking for Clairfield, that should be around your town at 624. Hamlin Town around 627. Okay, so I'm looking at an interesting post. Some significant tornado around Sunbright moments ago. The video is there, and you can click on the link that Greg was kind enough to provide in the comments section. So if you're on Facebook, I'm looking at this. It looks like a very thin line, but it does show signs of development. It's like 14 seconds, no, 34 seconds. But it is spinning up, and they have confirmation that this has been a problem. So I'm the one of those people who, like, somebody says, do you like to chase storms? I like to look at them before they occur, right? I don't want to be in them. I've been through my share of hurricanes, ice storms, snowstorms, and all the rest, and tornadoes are probably my least favorite to be in. So if you are like me, prevention's the best. What is it? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure or something of that nature. You just want to stay safe, and I want you to stay safe. There's no doubt. Let me do a quick future scan. I want to do that again because of future radar to see where this may very well be going. So I'm going to turn off these bars for a second. I'm even going to turn off this so you can see. If we go back in time, this is now what, 550. We're going to do the future scan. We're going to go forward in time, and this will take us to 720. So where does this storm go? Looks like it goes right between Pineville and Middlesboro. Somebody thought didn't like my analogy of a 7-10 split, but boy, does it really look like it goes right between Pineville and Middlesboro. It sure does. So if you're in Middlesboro, South Middlesboro, it may not hit you as much as North Middlesboro. Conversely, if you're in Pineville, it may very well affect areas south of Pineville more so than North Pineville. Does that make sense? So this is a future radar look that you have this same exact tool on the free Captain Accurate Weather app. You can see some of the towns, Binghamtown, Ferndale, Calvin, Colmar. You are in the crosshairs of a potential tornado in the next 60 minutes. You say, well, I'm not under a warning yet, just to watch. Well, I understand that. But some of the radar data suggests it's going to work its way toward Harlan. And you can see that up toward Cumberland and Harlan could be where that storm goes ultimately over time. That's why I just want to give you the intel so that you're in the know and not left flat-footed and go, I had no idea it could make it up here. That's what it's suggesting. It's not there yet, but it is working its way toward Colmar and perhaps Calvin here in the next 30 minutes or so, or less. I would say probably less. As you can see, the towns include Valley Creek, 630, Pearl at 631, and Frakes at 632. If you're on the call, let me know. Greg LaRue says I sent another link damage in Sunbright. Thank you, Greg. We'll look at that, and I encourage our listeners and watchers to check it out too, because I think seeing what I'm seeing is helpful to give you a visual of where this is. Now, this is going to cross state lines here in a short period of time. It's almost leaving Tennessee. It's already affecting Pearl in southeast Kentucky. I am sure our friends at Fox 56, who I freelance on occasion, up there in Lexington, will probably focus on this too, so you get double coverage, right? I can encourage a TV station up there. But they will also, Middlesboro may very well be north of you when this thing finally passes. Jake, tornado lover, he says. He loves tornadoes. Credits to Justin there in Sunbright, some damage. Those are some ugly pictures, right? That is an ugly picture that has occurred with the damage there in Sunbright. So if you've clicked on it, it looks like a building has lost its face. That's not good either in Sunbright, and a lot of damage on the streets. This is it's heartbreaking to see what's happened to Sunbright. If these pictures are verified and for sure what's happened. But I can tell you this, that's probably not that's not where it's going to stop. It's going to continue on that path, because we saw this didn't get initially sounded, the alarm wasn't, tornado warning wasn't issued until 5:16. So it's been going on for over an hour. And if you look at this track, which we can do pretty easily, let's go back an hour ago. This is where it was. It was around Elgin, right? And in that time, this storm has gone up like so. and it's affected, and probably a path of destruction can be found from Sunbright all the way up toward Jellicoe at this point, now moving northeast of Jellicoe. If you're on the call, let me know. I'd love to say hi to you. I'm turning back on. Let me turn off the lightning. Lightning is a bit cluttering. But we have a new tornado warning that includes Claiborne County till 7:15. So, again, Speedwell, I know you're in there, and I know Powell Valley's in there, but it looks like the storm may be moving north of Speedwell. I think they might be casting with a wide net, but better safe than sorry. If you're in Speedwell, Powell Valley, recommendation is that you get into a safe spot. Logan Dykes says, David, with the front pushing forward, cooler air and dark soon approaching, does that take the tornado risk down? It probably helps a little bit. If you were really observant from the Storm Prediction Center, Logan, he also says, how is the barometric pressure changing in the next couple hours? We'll get into that too. But the tornado risk from the Storm Prediction Center, they had us, Knoxville, a 10% chance this time last night. But then this morning, they went down to 5% because they figured it's probably going to be coming in here after dark. You do lose some buoyancy. The rising motion, the rising currents of air play a huge role in the development of any storm. And so Brandy Sue says she's in Speedwell and all is quiet. Yeah, see, what Brandy is seeing, she's seeing why. And again, I'm not here to pick a box argument with our friends at Weather Service. They included Speedwell when this system is moving up here, right? They included Powell Valley, and it may kind of brush through Powell Valley, but it's better safe than sorry. And to speak with one voice, I'm going to reiterate the tornado warning does last until 7:15 for Speedwell. May not come to pass, as you can see what I see, Brandy, but a lot of it's moving toward Pineville, between Pineville and Middlesboro. I think it's headed toward Calvin and Colmar. Those are the areas that it's going to be headed next. And you can see this is pretty impressive. Look at this, east-north winds at 75 miles an hour. So again, if it's a feather moving at 75 miles an hour, that's going to hurt. I mean, flying debris, that's going to hurt too. That's why I say it's always best to have a helmet, even for the kiddos, bike helmet, football helmet, what have you, if you're in your safe space and you're in a tornado situation, because it just makes good sense because of flying debris. We're not maybe accustomed to that like Oklahoma would be. Maybe we're not accustomed to tornadoes like other friends in other parts of the country, but it's always a good idea. And I'll just remind you, we had an EF2 last August, and it hit places like Hardin Valley, Level Road, near Hardin Valley. It's really Level Road and Yarnell Road. And it only lasted 6 minutes, y'all. 217 to 223. That was the post report the day after. 130 miles an hour wind. We could have had that in Sunbright tonight, this evening. We could have had something just like that. And people are like, well, that doesn't happen in West Knox County. Really? Really? Because these are the pictures from last August. Down trees. Okay, a few signs fell over. Big deal. Well, did you notice this? People were displaced. They have no home when water comes in it. And they had no home when they had no roof left. So there were a lot of damage from an EF2. Imagine if it were stronger up in Speedwell tonight. So prayers to them. But again, I want to emphasize, have multiple sources for information. If you don't like weather apps, fine. Make sure you have a weather radio. Maybe your friends have a weather radio you can borrow. Both are excellent to have. I'm a big fan of the app because I think you get a lot more than your typical weather app because you're getting all the National Weather Service alerts plus extra information. I do want to mention that. But when we talk about tornadoes, and I talk about this with my school kids all the time, how does a tornado form? The setup. You get the change in wind direction. That's what's happened at Sunbright. Winds went one way, winds went the other way. Which way did it go? It started to tilt on its head. The rotation, the change in wind direction with height causes the horizontal rotation. It's not a tornado yet, it's just spinning, but when it hits and you get confirmation like we did, suddenly it spins on its side, the strong lift flips the rotation vertically, and magically it starts to cause damage. The tornado forms. And I, for one, don't want to be in that path. How about you? Most people are probably not in that path tonight, but you're going to be thankful if you had the intel to get into a safe space. Again, it's my job to keep you safe. If you have a basement, that's your best preferred place. But if you don't have a basement, fear not. I would suspect you have some lower floor room, bathroom preferably, maybe no windows, some room in your house on the lower level that has no windows. That would be the next spot that I would recommend because these things can happen. And when they do, you need to have a place to go, and the whole family. There should be no confusion. If you're under a tornado warning, because we mentioned we're under a tornado watch for Knox County till 2 a.m., don't let it be like, I didn't know where to go. Well, you got all evening to discuss it if you're in Knox County until maybe things start to change. Speaking of change, we're going back to the radar. Looks like they have now, they did, interestingly enough, we'll take my track off for a second. They issued a severe thunderstorm warning here. Interesting play, because it's starting to lose some of its, maybe the hook echo configuration. It might be losing some of its intel there. They issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Kentucky, and I can almost assure you they didn't do that without talking with the Weather Service in Morristown, because they're like passing the baton, right? It was in the Morristown. Tennis ball was in their court. Now the tennis ball's in Kentucky's court, and they coordinate. They do this on a regular basis. It's one of the great things that are tax dollars at work. The National Weather Service in Morristown communicates with the National Weather Service in Jackson and sometimes Nashville, all the surrounding ones. But that is one of the things that they just issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southwestern Bell, south central Knox County. Now I'm talking Kentucky here, south central Knox County in southeastern Kentucky. And thirdly, southeastern Whitley County until 7 o'clock. So these are the areas that are under a severe thunderstorm warning. They still believe that the severe thunderstorm was located over Wilkerson or 14 miles west of Middlesboro, and it's moving, they say, northeast of 35. 35 miles per hour is what they have placed it at. Mine's around 43. So somewhere between 35 and 43 would probably be a fair estimate to assume where this particular cell is. We still have a tornado warning for Speedwell. Might have been overkill. Because I think it's passed by Speedwell. I think Powell Valley is safe, even though they're technically under the warning. I'm just giving you my opinion. My professional opinion has it not affecting Speedwell like it has affected Clearfield. If you're on the call, Haley says, I'm on the Campbell, Anderson County line. Winds are picking up here with some drops here and there. Thanks for all you do, David. I'll be stalking your live feeds all evening. No problem. I'm here. Until I run out of gas or my voice gives out. I'll do my best. Ashley June Stone says, anything for Tazewell? Question mark. So far you're okay in Tazewell, because where's Tazewell? Ashley, Tazewell is right here on my map, right? Here you are. And the storm's going this way. So it's moving up toward Harlan County, I think within the hour. We've looked at the future radar a moment ago, and you have that tool on the Captain Accurate Weather app. I always encourage you to empower you. You also have storm tracking. I can't emphasize this enough. Some people don't know, like, what is that? Storm tracking. Let's come back on camera for a second. So I'm going to look back over here. You have in your tool chest on this, let me see if we're over here, you have, right in here, come back on this screen. You have the tool chest of putting a storm track. I see this says Mezzo. I think you can see it. Yeah, it's moving east-northeast of 43. That's funny. That's the same information that's on your radar. I know, it's the same one. Now, if you hit the I, that's info button. For those who might not know, if you hit the I, you're going to get more information. I'm going to pop on that, and it tells you the towns. You know, it's going to be in Davisburg, Kentucky, in about 10 minutes. It's going to be in Edgewood, Kentucky, 11 minutes. And then you can hit the population filter to pick out, eliminate the small towns and only the big towns. So if I slide the population filter, I didn't know I could do that. Yeah, you could do that. But you can make it work for you, essentially. And you can also get really into the weeds, like you can get 61 dBz, cloud top of 19,600 feet, and the VIL, which is vertically integrated liquid goods sign, anything over 20, you start talking about some serious hail. So you got hail concerns, which we'll look at, but there's a 30% chance there, and the size looks like about a ½ inch. So a lot of intel with the storm tracks. Not all the apps have that. So you can do your own storm tracking. I'm trying to empower you so that you're not left in the wood. I mean, you want to see, okay, there's the cone, right? I see the cone and it's about to go into Kentucky. So that might be of help to you if you haven't downloaded the Captain Accurate Weather app yet, because it's free and it's there to help you through these times of storminess. And usually March, April, May is severe weather season. But if you haven't heard, we're going to get cold for the rest of the week. The transition day is tomorrow, as I'll show you the 7-day here in a little bit. But I want to get this out of Tennessee as it's worked its way now into Kentucky as a severe thunderstorm warning. That's what we have in yellow, right? The towns that are affected now would be Capito at 641, Davisburg at 644, Edgewood at 645. So those are the towns they're going to be impacted by a severe thunderstorm warning. Moving east-northeast is 43, and you can see the width is 10.9 miles. So that gives you the size of the storm, gives you the cloud top. It runs just shy of 20,000 feet up in the sky, and the hail has dropped. It is now severe hail, about 10%, and where it does form, it may be a half inch. So let's look at the hail. I haven't looked at that here in a little bit, but let's go ahead and take a look and see if I can pop this on here. Yep, there's maybe some hail here. We'll turn this off. We'll turn this off. Yep. So when you look at the purple area, you're looking at about 1 inch hail and maybe a half inch. So there's some hail associated with this with locally heavy rain. We haven't looked at this lately, but let's look at some of these numbers because torrential rain is also being impacted. Stinking Creek's had about estimated just under an inch. Maybe some areas have had more than an inch, inch and a half near Huntsville. They also have had some damage potentially southeast of Huntsville, maybe with possibly strongly with the tornadic winds have possibly occurred all the way from Sunbright area to parts of Scott County. Let's go back to the radar. There we go. So we have what little, probably more academic at this point. When you look at Kidwell, Fork Ridge, and Clearfield, I know you're technically still under a tornado warning, but common sense would tell me there's no radar echoes even there except maybe a passing rain shower, because all the activity now has moved in here around Chenoa, Capito, and now they expired it. So there you go. So now, comforting is that we have no more tornado warning. Yay! But we have a tornado watch. What does that mean? That means we have a preheated oven. It means that we have the potential in Knox County to get a tornado between now and 2 a.m. I know what you're thinking. Do you really think we're going to have a tornado like 1:55 in the morning? Probably not. They might expire this thing early, but it would be silly for me not to at least communicate to you what they're thinking. Their thinking is that we have the ripe conditions, a lot of humidity for a tornado, a new one could form. So the good news is, I mean, you could look back to north and west. There's one up here. Where is it? That's near Bowling Green. How many of you know Bowling Green, or maybe Mammoth Cave area, not too far up there in Kentucky, beautiful area. They've got a tornado warning going on until 6 o'clock Central. So, but there's more energy. If I go back to the national radar, I want to see what we have back here. So you can see the energy I'm looking at. There's probably a lot of thunder here, right? Yep, there's a lot of thunder. So you look at Huntsville, Alabama, and all this energy has to go where? It's going to come up in this direction. So we've got hours until that happens. So I don't think it's over. I think it might get more aggressive after 8 o'clock, certainly more aggressive after 10 o'clock. In some cases, if you're in Greenville or Newport, even more sound, it might be closer to 11 o'clock or later. It's just the way things are showing up. And let me show you the Futurecast. Let me give you that because I think that would be helpful. I did post it, but sometimes they update, and I can give you the latest information while I have you here, at least captivated like I am about what's going on. But let me show you the Futurecast, right? This is an idea of where storms could be. And maybe it's a little fast, but it took some of the storms up here. There's 8 o'clock potentially. Another wave comes around 9 or 10, right? It's kind of ugly. So it's not doing that now. Nope, it's not. But some of the energy I just highlighted could be working its way toward Tellico Plains, Madisonville, Von Orr, and Maryville, and say Wares Valley by 10 o'clock tonight. And then it moves towards Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, 11 o'clock, Knoxville, 11 o'clock. Oh, man, and nothing's going on in La Follette at that time. So now they have rain envy. Oh, I wish I had rain. Well, you already had a tornado, right, potentially, in Scott County, Campbell County. It'll all turn on a dime, and all the focus will be south and east of Knox County by 11 or 12 o'clock, if this verifies. Because midnight, it may look like this. It's still coming down in buckets. And some of you are like, man, I had no idea it was going to be like this. This lasts a long time. I mean, it started this morning. It was like 10:50 this morning when Cumberland County went under a tornado watch. So from 10:50 to what time is it now? 6:38? A long time. And by 1 or 2 in the morning. See, this has it out of here by 1. So by then, yeah, they'll probably pull that tornado watch before 2. That's my expectation. But I think just to play it safe, and so they don't have to issue another one. If they have it expire at 1 and then it sticks around till 2, then they have to issue another one. I think they've played it safe. They're playing it the way they should. This will go till probably 2 a.m. as far as the watch, but 1 o'clock, this timing takes it out of the picture. It's pretty much gone, and then we get colder. Yes, colder. We'll be in the upper 40s tomorrow morning. I did tell you I'd show you my, let me show you real quick the current temps. I believe they're over here. Yes, my current temps. I have stacked this show with so many things now. There it is. The current temps. We did hit 80 today, and we're still at 78. But compare and contrast where they've had the rain and the storms, Jamestown's 65 right now, and Oneida is 66. So they've lost some of the buoyancy. They've lost some of the humidity. But how about the stickiness? Yeah, it's still there. They have higher dew points there. Dew point to Wartburg is 65. Usually when it's in the 60s, we think of it as a bad hair day. So we have enough humidity in place for the next round of storms to catch some of you off guard. I hope not. But you look at 79 right now in Chattanooga at 6 o'clock at night. I do know we hit 80. We did hit 80 for a high temperature today. And I mentioned I'd show you the 7-day. Actually, let me go back to this. Where are we? Oops. Let's go back to this other one. 7-day. Yes, here it is. That's what I wanted. But anyway, with the heavier rains coming in this evening for Knox County, the Valley, we want to be on guard. So 62 is academic. We will be in the low to mid 60s at midnight, but dress for the 50s and 40s tomorrow because there will be some snowflakes tomorrow in the higher terrain of the Smokies, no doubt. And I think drops and flakes are fair game everywhere going into Thursday and Friday. We'll be lucky to hit 50, folks. Lucky to hit 50. May not amount to much, but it's just enough for you to say, oh, man, you got to be kidding me. I got 4 mornings in the 30s, and it's not like upper 30s. We're talking low to mid because on Saturday morning, we could be around 30, maybe 29, upper 20s for the plateau. Are you kidding me? That's like April 6th. That's like an April Fool's joke that just keeps on giving. Yeah, it's going to go right into the first full week of April. Very cold before we get back in the 70s again. Next week, into the low 70s. But Monday has me concerned because of the cloud cover. That's the total solar eclipse. So just keep an eye on that. Rebecca says, I hope Dollywood is okay. There's no reason to think otherwise. We love Dollywood. Charity says, where is Huntsville, Tennessee? Just read a tornado on the ground. Yes, it's up in Scott County. We'll go back there here at this moment, and then we'll wrap up here. Right now, this next round will be coming in later, and if I need to, I'll jump back in. Been on for a while. Been on probably more than an hour and a half, it would appear. But I'm going to turn this back to the radar and get back away from the lightning and back to the sweeps with our sweeps from our sponsor, Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. You can see that the only severe thunderstorm warning that we have right now is up here in Kentucky, and it lasts until 7. We do have watches in effect. They're not as dire. It's kind of like get ready is what a watch is about. It's preparing for what would be a warning, which would be take action. So we have until 2 a.m. a tornado watch and pockets of heavy rain that could still come back around, no doubt. So I just want you to be aware of what's possibly going to transpire here in the next couple of hours. That's one thing I would urge you to make sure you have a plan. I want to say a special thanks to my sponsor, Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. If you find that these little cut-ins on your phone are helpful, please, because everybody has to get an oil change somewhere, please consider Matlock Tire Service and Auto Repair. Maybe you've gone to them for many years. They have been doing this now for over 70 years, and they've got 5 convenient locations. But they took a chance on me and said, I'll sponsor your radar, and I appreciate them more than you know. But they are East Tennessee's #1 tire service and auto repair since 1953. Check them out, MatlockTireService.com. You can set up your appointment, minimize your wait time, and you also get the modern conveniences and the hometown values and service that Matlock has been known to deliver. But they're in Knoxville, Maryville, Lenore City, Athens, and Hardin Valley. Check them out today. They would love to see you and hear from you. But again, I just wanted to let you know the tornado threat is gone. The damage is now going to be assessed. The pictures will continue to come in, but usually the protocol is that they'll go out with an iPad. The National Weather Service will usually go out with an iPad the next day, and they will assess the damage, because usually there's a signature. They can assess it, if a sidewalk is overturned, then they pretty much know it's an EF3 or stronger, EF4, EF5. But I think you're probably going to find some very strong winds, so 130 or higher when you talk about the enhanced Fujita scale. So we'll have to wait and see how that's assessed. That will not be determined tonight. It'll most likely be determined once they send out a meteorologist to survey the damage tomorrow. And they'll also track its path from start to finish. Anyway, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate. We'll see here later tonight as needed. Take care.